Hello, good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of BOI Impact. I am Hadiza Olaosebikan. Tonight's program is a follow-up to that of last week that highlighted some of the significant initiatives embarked upon by the Bank of Industry in 2014 under its new board and management. On today's program, we shall bring you the concluding part of the high points of BOI's activities in 2014, especially as they relate to steps taken to deepen collaboration with its existing domestic and foreign development partners and the cultivation of new ones with institutions and agencies in the public and private sectors that could potentially assist its effort at transforming Nigeria's industrial sector. For instance, in the course of 2014, BOI's Managing Director, Mr. Rasheed Adejare Olaoluwa, and members of the bank's management visited the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi, FIRO, in Lagos, as well as the Project Development Agency, PRODA, in Enugu, and signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development towards implementing vital components of the Agric Transformation Agenda. In rounding up the year one of BOI's assisted customers, Innocent Technical and Industrial Company Limited launched the first locally manufactured cars in the country. The cars were commissioned by the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, alongside the MD of the bank, Mr. Rasheed Olaoluwa. Once again, here are highlights of BOI's highly impressive activities in 2014. Happy viewing. In its engaging drive to develop the Nigerian industrial sector through innovations and linkages with various development partners, the Bank of Industry's management team, led by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Rasheed Olaoluwa, visited the Federal Institute for Industrial Research, FIRO, to review strategies to deepen relationships that would aid the realization of their mandates. Welcoming the Bank of Industry team to her office, the Director General of FIRO, Mrs. Gloria Elemo, commended the efforts of the MD in his proactive engagement of various stakeholders. After an incisive presentation on the activities of the institution on the development of various technologies to assist micro, small and medium enterprises across the country to process Nigerian agri-produce and solid minerals into finished products, she expressed her optimism in the partnership between FIRO and BOI.
I do hope that with this courtesy visit today, we will be able to strike a harmonious chord that will help to achieve the objectives of the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan.
While commending the DG of FIRO on her achievements, the MD of BOI stressed the need for the two partners in progress to be more creative and proactive in the drive to industrialize the country.
On behalf of my colleagues, we would like to express our deepest appreciation for this warm reception and for the content, very insightful content of your presentation. There are several areas of collaboration. Clearly we can collaborate in terms of how can we bring this information to the whole public, to the general public. How can we promote these technologies that you have developed? How can we make it, available to people? How can we exhibit these technologies? How can we support the process of fabricating the equipment? So I think we'd like to create an ecosystem for industrial development. What we want to do is to support the small-scale industrialists that will come to FIRO and obtain the relevant equipment for each of these value chain activities. So for instance, you want to produce cassava flour, you already have the equipment and you have an arrangement with the fabricators.
Yeah.
So 500,000, even 1 million, a couple of millions, we can finance them, okay, for them to get the equipment. So by the time they begin to show success stories, the bigger entities will be attracted, to similar technologies, and, a lot of things can begin to happen.
We are going to work together to make sure that the youth are empowered. And buying into our technology and entrepreneurship program, which we are developing here, the bank can actually assist in the area of finance. I want to congratulate the MD of Bank of Industry for moving the initiative to find FIRA very relevant to the innovation platform and solve the problem of job employment in this country.
We at BOI also believe very strongly that there should be a direct linkage between innovation centers and our industry.
The product visit is part of concerted effort at working with research institute and development agencies whose mandate would facilitate Nigeria's emergence of a substantially technological self-reliant nation, especially in the local production of equipment and machinery to support the country's micro, small and medium-scale enterprises that engage in the processing of Nigeria's vast agricultural produce and solid minerals. Here are highlights of BOI's visit to Proda in Enugu. Happy viewing. The consistency of Proda's mandate with BOI's agenda of transforming Nigeria's industrial sector prompted the bank's visit to the institute, during which Proda's acting director general and CEO, Engineer Charles Agulanam, highlighted some of the efforts the institute has made in producing equipment and machinery for processing of Nigeria's vast agricultural produce and solid minerals.
We have been involved actually in helping industries, especially we have what they call the world-based cluster programs. And it is intended actually to take to the grassroots some of the developments we have in respect of R&D products.
In his response, the MD of BOI, Mr. Rashid Olaoluwa, commended the institute and explained why the bank is desirous of working with Proda.
When this management team was inaugurated recently, one of the things we highlighted as a key strategic imperative for us is to bring to play the linkage between innovation, technology, and industry. Because we realized that over the years, Nigeria has established a number of research institutes which are important innovation centers. But I'm very glad that you mentioned the fact that your theme is industrialization through self-reliance. And I'm pleased that you actually have a lot of technologies. For instance, you mentioned the pencil production, the cassava peeler, the palm kernel cracker, the palm kernel oil extractor. These are, important technologies for, especially the last three, for our agro-processing segment.
He then suggested a roadmap for the partnership.
For me, the technology is already there. The challenge is, how do we promote the technologies? How do we bring it to market? How do we link the technologies to the people who actually use it to commercialize it? You have people here who have the fabrication skills. Because that is something that in Nigeria we need to improve upon. Yeah. And since you already have that core competence, we need to find a way to leverage on that.
We are quite excited by this visit because this visit is a window to the Institute to be able to start to impact positively on the economy of the country. Because with this window, like I said, I think we can start to reach out much more than we did in the past. To reach the business people, the public, the entrepreneurs who are interested in this product.
We were at FIRO actually 2 times in the last 3 months, and we're also here today at the Project Development Institute, PRODA, in Enugu. So you can see strategy in action. It's a deliberate strategic step we are taking to ensure that there is a very good practical linkage between the centers of innovation and in industry.
In the next half hour, we shall let you into how the Bank of Industry and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development are scaling up their collaboration to a higher level. The two development partners recently signed another memorandum of understanding. This time is for the establishment of 10 integrated rice processing plants and 6 high-quality cassava flour mills. In locating the 16 mills in different parts of the country, due consideration was given to a number of factors, especially areas that have comparative advantages in the production of rice and cassava. The 16 projects that are estimated to cost 13.6 billion naira are to be financed under a highly concessional long-term and single-digit interest rate facility approved by the federal government. Details of the scheme were unveiled at the MOU signing ceremony by the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, and the BOI's Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Rashid Adejare Olaoluwa. Both of them described the initiative as another bold step towards attaining self-sufficiency in food production.
It's a pleasure at the Bank of Industry to be here today to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture on what we call the Cassava and Rice Intervention Fund. The idea of the fund is to enable this administration to advance the already successful agricultural transformation agenda, to take it to an advanced stage by actually setting up 10 medium-sized rice mills and 6 cassava, high-quality cassava mills across the country. Over the last 3 years, a lot of activities have been undertaken to improve and increase local production of these items in Nigeria. We are now at a critical stage where there is a need for effective processing of the agricultural produce. And essentially what this MOU is going to address is the modalities for ensuring that these 16 companies materialize in the next few months. 10 for rice and 6 for cassava. It is hoped that by the time the 16 companies are operational, certainly the amount of rice that we import in Nigeria will be significantly reduced, if not completely eliminated.
Thereafter, the minister unveiled the states where the rice and high-quality cassava mills will be located.
We are, through the ministry, going to be procuring, through the Bank of Industry, 10 integrated rice mills. These 10 integrated rice mills will each have capacity of 36,000 metric ton capacity. So which means all of them will be total of 360,000 metric ton capacity. So you have an understanding of how huge this investment really is. And those rice mills are going to be located in the following states: in Kebbi State, Zamfara State, Kaduna, Kano, Benue, Kogi, Bayelsa, Bauchi, Ogun State, and in Anambra State. When it comes to the issue of these rice mills, obviously the question will be, when you have all these rice mills, is it government rice mills or is it private sector. Government has no role there. The role of government is to facilitate the access to finance, and I'll come to that in a minute, for private sector investors to invest in these mills and run it as a totally private sector-driven operation. When it comes to the issue of the policy on cassava flour and the wheat flour, we have made tremendous amount of progress on this as well. To be able to succeed fully with our cassava inclusion policy, cassava flour inclusion policy, we need volume of production. So we need to expand the scale of operation, and we are doing that today. However, as in the case of rice, we also need to be able to produce and process high-quality cassava flour at scale for the industry. And that is why the Federal Executive Council approved for us to invest in the acquisition of 6 large-scale high-quality cassava flour processing plants. Now, each one of these, their capacity is roughly about 72,000 capacity for each one of these, so you can understand they are very, very huge plants. And they will produce the volume of cassava flour at a lower cost, at the quality needed by the flour millers, so that they can use it for integration inside of their own composite flour that they are producing. These 6 high-quality cassava flour processing plants are going to be located in the following states: Ondo State, Ogun State, Abia State, Delta State, Cross River State, and Nasarawa State. The total investment that government is putting into this is to achieve the following. First, we want our private sector to acquire this at a lower interest rate.
Then the signing ceremony. The 17th of October 2014 will long be remembered as an historic day at the Bank of Industry, because that was the day the bank unveiled and honored the first set of inductees into its first-of-its-kind Bank of Industry Hall of Fame. At the unveiling and induction ceremony in Lagos, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Mr. Rasheed Olaoluwa, said the Hall of Fame program is to identify with the customers that have made the bank proud.
We at BOI have decided to introduce a scheme to honor some of our customers who have shown excellent performance by fully repaying the loans granted to them by BOI as and when due. Our board of directors has approved the establishment of a Hall of Fame into which exemplary and outstanding customers, big and small, shall be inducted. We are pleased to announce an inaugural list of 10 inductees into our Hall of Fame. The inductees, in alphabetical order, are as follows. 1. Amasco International Limited, Kano. 2. Cement Company of Northern Nigeria, Sokoto. 3. Kobef International Limited, Port Harcourt. 4. Happiness Foam Industries Limited, Benin. Innocent Technical and Industrial Company Limited, Enugu. 6. Nigeria Aluminium Extrusions Limited, Lagos. 7. Nigerian Foundries Limited, Lagos. 8. Paul B. Nigeria Limited, Enugu. 9. Rumbu Sachs Limited, Kano. And 10. Supercore Industries Limited, Bauchi. Ladies and gentlemen, these companies obtained long-term credit facilities from BOI at least twice
and they fully repay the loans as and when due.
By dint of hard work and perseverance, these promoters have transformed and metamorphosed their small and medium enterprises into large enterprises. Their testimonies lend credence to the saying that management is indeed a continuum.
I started dealing with BOI for over 18 years ago. They started giving me money by giving me the first facility through NAC. They approved about 150 million. BOI cut it to 80 million so that they didn't sure that I will pay. Finally, they used the 80 million to buy one equipment for me. The way I paid for that first one equipment, they buy 3 equipment at a time. And the way I pay again, they buy 6 equipment. Today, my factory, my first factory at Enugu of Innocent Technical, I have the biggest equipment in plastic manufacturing in West Africa, and it was sponsored by Bank of Industry. And since I get direction by getting money from Bank of Industry, that's why I can be able to expand my factory every day.
You're still watching BOI's Impact. Then comes the grand finale of the ceremony, where all the inductees and other invited guests were led by the bank's management team to the green carpet where the induction took place.
In the name of God Almighty, I want to declare open the BOI Hall of Fame to celebrate our outstanding, exemplary customers.
The 29th of November 2014 will remain a historic day in the annals of our dear country's industrialization drive, because that was the day the first made-in-Nigerian car by Innocent Vehicle Motors Manufacturing Company was commissioned and driven by the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga. The Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment commended the company for its significant contributions to Nigeria's industrial development and its giant strides in bringing to fruition the objectives of the National Automotive Policy in particular and NIRP in general.
This is another milestone in the implementation of the federal government's auto policy under our President, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. I commend you for your continuous investment and expansion, which clearly demonstrates your confidence not only in the Nigerian economy, but also in the transformation agenda of the President. And all credit must go to Mr. President, because without his support, without his direction, without his vision, it would have been impossible. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I unveiled this first made a Nigerian car by Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing under this new policy, which was brought in and launched by Mr. President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Let me assure you that the federal government will continue to patronize your products and ensure that you get all the support needed for you to grow and compete globally.
Mr. Rashid Adejare Olaoluwa, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Bank of Industry, that has supported the highly successful Innocent Group both financially and technically over the years, commended the federal government's industry-friendly policies and also pledged BOI's continued support for the Innocent Group.
In Nigeria today, there are many companies, or at least a few companies, that are into local assembly of vehicles. They bring in CKD parts, they bring in SKD parts, and then assemble locally. What we are witnessing here today is that for the first time in Nigeria, we are actually manufacturing cars locally in Nigeria. For us at BOI, we've always been very proud of Innocent Group. So much so that recently we inducted Innocent as one of the 10 companies into our Hall of Fame. So, like I said on that occasion, Innocent is now entitled to a fast-track treatment at the Bank of Industry because he has earned it. He has taken facilities from Bank of Industry and repaid not once, not twice, not thrice, at least 5 times. He's an exemplary customer of Bank of Industry. And to celebrate Innocent Group, recently we launched BOI's magazine called BOI Impact, and we actually feature Innocent on the front page. So once again, my brother, congratulations. We are really delighted, and I think this is the beginning of more good things to come. Thank you.
It is with great pleasure, great pride, that I unveil this first made in Nigeria car in this industrial city of Nnewi, to the glory of God and of course to the glory of our great country, Nigeria. Thank you. Yay! It has happened.
The next one will be an aircraft aeroplane from Innocent.
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the program. The Bank of Industry has already commenced the assiduous execution of the landmark initiatives that were embarked upon in 2014. So if you are a genuine entrepreneur and require the support of BOI, please visit our website to explore our financial and technical services. You could also visit any of the bank's zonal offices nearest to you. At BOI, we're always ready to give you and your potentially bankable proposals all the necessary support. In subsequent editions of BOI Impact, we shall continue to showcase BOI's products and services as well as the successful projects that we have supported. It is on this note that we'll draw the curtains on this week's edition of the program. I am Hadiza Olaosebikan. Join us same time, same station next week for another interesting edition. Bye for now.